Please help me welcome Senator Joe Markley.
Thank you very much for that greeting. I appreciate it. It's nice to be somewhere where I'm so well received. And you know, I have to say I have a little bit of feeling of old home week here. And I was talking with Scott and Lenny about the first time that I met these guys, which was back in 2009, down I think in Rocky Hill. And probably, I mean, you hadn't been doing it more than a few months. Maybe. I think they were bragging about they had maybe 9 members. Hey, and I tell you something, I met them, it takes me back too. And Jen Ezel and John Beidler, who I knew from way back, and a lot of people in this room. So it's kind of a dream and a fulfillment to see it what it is today. What got me back involved in politics, some of you know this, I'll mention somebody who hasn't come up for a while, is a fellow named Sean Murphy. And, yeah, some of you remember him. And Sean was a good friend, and he gave me some energy and got me directed. But he told me, he came to me and he said, if you were a young guy and still had any energy left, what would you do? And I said, I'd try to pull together all the good conservatives and constitutionalists in the state of Connecticut and see if you could make a movement and start to transform the Republican Party and elect some people to the state legislature. Because I've been preaching the same gospel for a long time. And I said, you know, the gun people, boy, if you could get them together in one group, but I don't know who's going to do that. And a couple of weeks later, he came back and he said, I met these 2 guys and they're going to do it. And by golly, they did. He was right. And I knew it as soon as I met him, too, that this was the right thing. I used to give speeches wearing that flag vest. I don't know if who remembers that. I still remember, yeah, Chris. another one from way back. I think about it I would have brought it tonight if I had been thinking. I've been looking for an excuse to take it out again. Anyways, I said I have been preaching. You passed the plate tonight, so this will be the preaching part. I have been preaching since I got involved. State legislature. We got to take back the state legislature. And people would say, what? Who? State senator? Who? Blumenthal? Dodd? Who's the state senator? No, you're state senator. It makes a difference. Why is it important to get the state legislature? Let me tell you, you all found out why it's important to get the state legislature. And the second reason is this, is a congressional campaign costs millions of dollars. A U.S. Senate campaign, tens of millions of dollars. Gubernatorial campaign. These are big undertakings. The resources we have, the number of volunteers we can provide are not as likely to be decisive. But when you talk about a race like we just heard from Noah here, at the state legislative level, we can make a big difference. We can elect people. We can do it. John Beidler and I, back in 2010, were driving around just trying to dig up candidates anywhere. And it's another thing to say about the state legislature. You don't have to be a multimillionaire. You don't have to have years and years of legislative service. An average person can run for the state legislature and they can go up there and make a difference. You saw Art Linares here before, 24 years old. I was 27 when I was elected to my old solitary term back in 1984. I came off of the library board, not exactly a lofty position. My friend Tom Scott over here was 22 when he was elected to the state senate. Okay. What do you have to do for a state senate campaign? You have to raise, you heard people talking about public financing. I'm not here to ask you for money. I'm going to ask you for something more valuable. $15,000 and $15,000, and the second thing you need volunteers. 20 good volunteers in a state senate race is an army. That's the thing. And I've been waiting to have an army, and I got an army here tonight. This is what I've been looking for. Okay, we need 5 seats in the state senate to get a Republican majority. We got 14 right now. 22 Democrats. If we go from 14 to 19, we got an absolute majority. If we get 4 seats and elect a governor, that'd also give us a majority because Penny Bacchiacchi, or whoever's the lieutenant governor, would get a deciding vote in the state Senate. I think we can depend on her. Now, you've heard the word Republican a lot tonight, and I think a lot of you have sort of mixed feelings about it. And I gotta say that I've had mixed feelings about it. When I came back into politics, when I was running around with Sean Murphy, I certainly wasn't intending to run for the legislature, and I wasn't thinking about being a Republican particularly. I can remember arguing with Bob McGuffey about it, as a matter of fact. Because McGuffey said, no, we gotta go to the Republican Party. I said, I don't know. I said, I want to form my own party. I want to call it the Deep Breath Party. Because I want to take a deep breath before we do anything. It's a conservative. I don't want to move fast. Well, here's where we stand. The Republican Party is the only party that will have me, barely. So that's the party that I'm going to stay with. And I'm going to do what I can to transform that party into what it should be, which should be a constitutional party.
Yeah!
You heard Mark already say that he wouldn't have voted for the bill, wouldn't have supported the bill because it wouldn't work. That's a good reason. But you know, the bottom line is, whether it works or not, the Constitution is the rule book, and that's why we want to work. I don't say that the millennium comes if we elect a Republican state Senate, but we wouldn't have passed that bill because it would never have come up, because there's enough Republicans that'll stand their ground in the state Senate and the state House. Remember, a majority of them in both chambers voted against the gun bill, despite the leadership. So that's what we need. We need to have a Republican majority. So one thing we can get, and we can get it in the Senate, as I said to you. So how do we do that? This, Chris, is what I would ask you don't post up on YouTube, because I just want to talk about it a little bit without necessarily having the world say it.